We've come down to Brentwood, an extremely rich, exclusive area. At the moment, it's not in an evacuation zone, but just take a look at this. Outside these houses of millionaires, there is a fleet of private firefighting vehicles. A small army, really, standing by, ready to protect some very, very wealthy homes. Now, people have raised a lot of questions about this, about how ethical it is when schools, care homes, ordinary people's houses have been destroyed and the public fire service is struggling. Now, the fires tonight, they're not imminently threatening this area. There is a possibility the wind could blow them this way, but clearly people with millions to spend, they're not taking any chances. We've spoken to a few of the guys protecting these homes. They're really nice, they're just doing a job. You know, some of the time they don't even know who they're working for, but you can understand why people are frustrated and angry that certain areas like this are getting this special protection.
House.
You know, as you see videos like that, it makes you think about how fragile our existence is. What are the government's plans? Why was Karen Bass sent as a delegation to Ghana? Why the water issues? More and more scenes like this gentleman that we just saw is breaking more and more people's hearts, because everyone has to come together now and take care of thousands, tens of thousands of people. We have to absorb in community tens of thousands of people. It's more than thinking about how we can prevent a tragedy like this from happening again. It's about finding out what happened.
What's the vibe like? Obviously, you've said you've had friends that have lost homes in the Palisades. What's the vibe like? Do they want to move back to the Palisades? Are they considering moving elsewhere? Do they?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Look, this is hard to say. I strongly believe that 50% of the people who lived in the Palisades are not going to be moving back to the Palisades.
Why?
Yeah, and honestly, that number wasn't as big last week in my mind. But after the phone calls that I've been getting, people who are moving to Brentwood, Santa Monica, Bel Air, Beverly Hills, those are going to be the markets that are going to go up, because people want to be as close to normalcy as possible.
Yeah.
And those are those towns right around the Palisades.
Yeah.
Those are going to go up, that market. That's where they're going to move. It's going to be too long. You got to realize the Palisades is the all-American town, right?
Yeah.
The families are running around. It's like what you picture towns in movies that we used to watch.
Yeah.
These kids that are 5 years old right now that live in the Palisades and go to school, there's a chance that if things don't move fast, it could be 4 to 5 years before they're back there. These kids are now 10. They're going to different schools,
right,
different lives now, you know. So it's tough, because picture you living on a street. You're the first house finished, and every other house on the street is in construction.
Yeah.
Think about that. You don't want to do that. You want to wake up every single morning and be reminded of that.
Right, it's traumatic.
I'm negotiating almost a dozen deals right now on land in the Palisades, much faster than I ever thought I would be doing. People are already trying to sell their dirt, knowing that they're not going to go back there, to home builders that will then build their house and either keep it or sell it.
So because obviously some people with the Woolsey fire, this could be their second time rebuilding with Malibu and stuff like that.
It's just hard.
Who's going to move to the Palisades, or are we going to see that city kind of
The calls that I've got have been across the board of, I'm 70 years old, I just evacuated for my last time, I'm out. I'm never going back.
Where are they going?
Okay, that was the Palisades. So they're either going locally, or because of, you know, they're fed up with the regulations and government, they're out. California, and if they're not and they're out of LA, they're going down to Newport Beach.
Oh,
yeah, I'm getting a huge amount of calls of people who want to move down to Orange County.
Really?
Yeah. Majority of the people, unfortunately, because I've been on the phone with my insurance agent for hours every day.
Yeah.
Majority of the people were heavily uninsured. And that's an issue. And that's why they're not going to go back to the Palisades.
Yeah.
Because in order to recreate the house that they lived in, their dream house, they're not going to be able to afford it. And that's just the horrible thing.
So thank you guys for watching. Just taking a news break with me, WD3, a solemn news break. Once again, my whole hometown of Altadena burned down to the ground. Why? Well, that's the question. Folks like the gentleman in this video lost everything they've worked for their whole lives, things that their parents have worked for, generations gone. People sitting on $1 million properties, regular folks who never had real wealth, now they're sitting on a $1.2, $1.3 million home burned to the ground. Now everyone around, the worst thing could happen if your house still standing and it's all wet up inside and out, no neighbors. Bad situation. Folks are going to come in and buy it all up, pennies on the dollar. So there you go. What are we going to do to move forward? Love your neighbors, you love yourself. Treat people the way you want to be treated. It's WD3. I'm out.